Alright, so welcome to episode 2 of the Anonymous NI podcast. First things first, thank you so much to everybody who has supported the podcast so far. Can't thank you enough. It's been very pleasing and very affirming that I'm doing the right thing. That people have been so interactive and so upbeat about what we're trying to do here. Today I was hoping to film my first anonymous guest, but unfortunately the person couldn't come and do it. So I thought that I would just do another wee episode here, just to kind of give you an idea really of what it's, more so what it's about, what it is we're trying to do here. I'm going to go through a few different questions just and try and answer them, just so that people have a bit of a better idea of what it is we're doing. But like I said, first things first, thank you so much for all the support so far, and a couple of people have reached out for a bit of help, which has been really good as well. So yeah, I'm going to try and edit this a little bit more than I did with the last ones. The last one we kind of just threw up. I know it's been a wee while since we filmed, but I had a job interview. I got the job. What do you do? Which I'm super chuffed about. Gives me less hours in the day to do all the things that I do normally. But at the end of the day, progress is progress. I'm really excited about the organisation I'm going to be working with. Great opportunity. Really, really happy to be doing that. This has nothing to do with them, nor do my opinions, actually. I may as well say that. All the opinions on this show are my own. Nothing to do with any organisation I have previously or presently work with. But yeah, I've got 2 cameras today. I'm feeling a bit weird about it just being me. But at the end of the day, I wanted to get something up for you guys so that you could still keep seeing something. So I'll film this here today, here now, and then I'll edit it up, and hopefully I'll have something out by Friday. Alright, so question 1, quite a fair question. Who am I? Well, my name is Johnny Moore. I mentioned it before. I'm a 35-year-old man who struggled with addiction in the past. Been working on resolving my issues for the past 9 years or so. I'm currently just off a year sober. A year since I last used. I've had a lot of periods of sobriety prior to that, and I've done a lot of work in regards to this. The one thing that's annoying me actually about not having the guest today is I really didn't want this podcast to be about me, and I don't want it to be about me. It's not about me. Merely I am just a facilitator to help people express their stories, advertise their services, and or talk and just try and get some help. I'm by no means a guru of all this kind of carry on, of a lot of people who have a lot more wealth and knowledge and experience than I do. That's why I want to bring them on the show, so that they can talk and they can bring their wisdom to this. Like I said, I've previous experience working with addiction. I'm currently studying a counselling degree, a foundation in integrative counselling, and I aspire to be an EMDR therapist. If you don't know what EMDR is, we will hopefully be bringing somebody on to talk about that as well. It's a gold standard therapy that has been used to treat PTSD, something that I actually suffer with. Who am I? I'm a man who's made a lot of mistakes. as we all have. And I've really, really, really tried to turn my life around, and I was doing really well for a while, and ultimately I was representing myself in the High Court for my children, and I attempted suicide, and I had to leave work, and then COVID hit, and all that kind of carry on. I suffered through COVID, and ultimately my behaviours regressed again, back to destructive patterns. I believe that because of my life experience, I have what's the word I'm looking for? Just the right to talk about the topic. I'm just another human being. I will continue to make mistakes. I will continue to not do as well as I could, but I have every hope and aspiration to minimise that, and with the right support around me, I believe I can achieve that. In the year of my sobriety, I have gained so much, and I really just kind of want to help people see that it is possible. But we'll talk about that later on. So I'm just another guy. I have zero media experience. I am really learning this as I go. And this is only the second time I've filmed. A load of people help me out to try and get the cameras and stuff because they see the potential of doing what I'm doing. Alright, again, another good question. What is the actual podcast? What is it we're about? So, the idea behind the podcast is that I want to let people know that there's help out there, that they're not alone, that it is possible to put your well, I suppose at the time for people, it is possible to put what you're going through and the crap that's going on in your life behind you. It is possible. I spent so long in addiction, feeling suicidal, and repeatedly making the same mistakes. But I didn't know any better. I just didn't know. I didn't know how to get help. I didn't know how to act differently because I just didn't have the capacity. A lot of this podcast is going to be about recovery and about drugs. I want to address the issues that are faced in Northern Ireland at the present. It's mental to think that the highest suicide rate in Europe is North Belfast. Europe is a big place, and we have the highest suicide rate just up the road. But the problem is nobody's talking about it. That's what I don't see anybody talking about it. We've got Stormont won't sit, so nothing's happening. But even if they were sitting, would they be doing anything about this? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not saying, definitely not saying that this podcast is the answer to that, to sorting that. But what if we got suicide prevention people on the show, talked about how to get involved, where to get help, maybe some success stories of where that's changed. I would be one of those success stories, so to speak. I lived so long wishing to be dead. And what I kind of realised is, from where I'm sitting now, I didn't wish I was dead. I didn't wish I wasn't living. I wished the things that were going on in my life and the way things were would change. That things would get better. But I didn't know how to behave any better to get those better results. I had one coping mechanism, and that was to run from my behaviour through drinking drugs. Shortly, that behaviour always resulted in me ending up in the exact same spot. I don't think I expected it to be in any different a spot because I knew it was coming, but I think I actually repressed how bad it was because it was that terrible. My body my brain just said, nope, you're going to forget that. But then I'll keep going back to the same spot and hate myself for ending up there again. So maybe if somebody could hear that and relate to that, they could be like, okay, I'm doing that. This guy was doing that. How did he stop that? And I could maybe point somebody in the right direction of doing that. Or maybe, it's not just going to be about suicide. It's not just going to be about drugs. It's going to be about anything that's coming on. I have numerous guests lined up. I've got a couple of therapists. I've got mental health workers. I've got woodlands workers. I've got countless guys that have personal experience in it. Hopefully one of the guys that I support will be having a chat with me on this as well. Who else have I got? I'd love to get the likes of services that are available to come on. I would love for maybe the likes of an organisation that supports with suicide comes on, talks about their service. This is where the phone number is. This is when we're open. This is where we're located. If you need help, ring us. Or homeless. What happens whenever you're homeless? I remember being stuck and not knowing where to turn. And I think that if we could make that more visible, we could maybe save a couple of lives and intergenerational support, so that kids wouldn't lose their parents wouldn't lose their children. Because that's just the reality of it, really, The reality is that it's happening, and it's happening here. So the podcast itself is about giving people hope, bringing on some success stories, It's about making it available to people wherever they are. Whoever you've got a smartphone, you can watch this or listen to this. Obviously, I'd like that to progress, but that's down the line, But for now, that's what we're doing. We're going to be bringing on people to talk. We're going to hopefully be interviewing some services, getting some professional perspectives on what's actually going on out there, discussing about it and signposting to support and help that is available out there, and it's free to a lot, and really just giving people that hope that all this could stop, things could get better, because if I can do it, you can do it. So that's more or less what we're about. So why a podcast? Podcast is quite simple, really, with regards to the podcast. It's available, it's easily accessible, it's shareable, it's really just, it's about being able to reach the people, I think podcasts are getting very popular, and I don't want it to just be one topic, but I kind of do worry that I might saturate, what it is I'm trying to do. Maybe I should just keep it on addiction, and then we'll go further with it, or it'll go in depth with the suicide and stuff as well. But I don't know. I don't want it to be just addiction. I want it to be what's actually going on out there. So I don't know where I'm going to go with that. I might just revert back to just being a addiction podcast, but for now I'm going to be doing a podcast about mental health, trauma, addiction, therapy, prison, homelessness, all that kind of stuff, interesting stuff, and where to get help. So very shortly, the reason for the podcast is it's just how accessible it is. It is very easy to get, so it'll hopefully spread. I need you to help me spread that, but yeah, that's why it's a podcast. Oh, so why is it called Anonymous NI? Great question. Actually, one of my favourite questions. The idea behind the Anonymous is, I'm going to be bringing on people's families, people who have struggled with addiction, bring on people's stories who have a great story, but they maybe don't want their neighbour to know about it, So, what's important, the face or the story? People will have the option to either come on anonymously or just come on publicly and talk the way they want to talk. But I think bringing in the anonymous side of it helps the fact that more people will come on and talk. More people will come on. I already have anonymous guests lined up. And they're the ones I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest. Have family members who are willing to talk but not willing to put their face to it. They don't want to be recognised in the street, or maybe their colleagues to know exactly who it is, or for whatever reason. I believe that the anonymity will increase the amount of people willing to share, willing to talk, willing to spread that hope. So that's the idea behind the Anonymous. Last time we had Andy, and he didn't want to be an anonymous guest. I've got family members who are willing to not be anonymous, and I think the way the woman put it was, I ain't embarrassed of my mother's addiction. Sorry, I'm not embarrassed that my mother is in recovery. I may have been embarrassed that she was in addiction, but she's not. She's in recovery, and she's proud of that. So hopefully that'll be one of our guests coming up. So yeah, that's really the anonymous side of it. I might bring on professionals as well who don't want to put their face to what they're saying, merely because they don't want to be recognised in the street, etc., or for whatever reasons it is. So yeah, that's why it's anonymous, because we will be having anonymous guests, because that brings a wider range of people and a wider story and a wider capacity to the show. So who am I trying to reach? Another good question. Very simply put, anybody who's struggling with addiction, any of the family members that are struggling in and around the addiction, anybody who's really felt alone, that their behaviours are repeating themselves, and they don't know where to turn. I remember whenever I was sleeping in my car, and I just didn't have any idea where to turn, where to get help. I wanted things to change. I wanted them to get better, but they never did, because I didn't know how to do any better. So the idea will be to try and show people that things can get better, but you need to change. It's on you, I think if we can vocalise and show success stories and where support is available, I think we can save lives. So I'm really just trying to reach anybody who feels lost, who feels alone, who if it was anything like me, contemplating suicide on at least a weekly, if not a nightly cycle. I'd love to reach the guys who, I'd love to catch people before they fall, talking about what things were like while I was in working and in addiction, the cycle of the rip, Monday hanging, Tuesday really, really, really down, Wednesday starting to feel better, Thursday ready for the weekend, Friday on the drink, Saturday on the drink, Sunday on the drink, Monday hanging, and repeat, Trying to get those guys before they lose it all and lose the wife, lose the family, lose the kids, and all the damage that is caused by that. So trying to reach people in those scenarios, that's who we're trying to reach. So the viewers will be getting help really, hopefully, from the organisations that they're signposted to. You are able to message me on Facebook. You are able to WhatsApp me on the phone number that's on Facebook. You will be signposted to places where to get help. I am not in a position to be running about helping people just myself. Not saying that I won't link in with you or anything like that, but the Anonymous NI is not an organisation. But you will be able to get help anonymously. You don't need to worry about us informing social services or anything like that. And I think that's one of the things that we think is important, is that people get help because they need help, and not getting help isn't helping. So you can reach out to us on Facebook or on WhatsApp. We'll probably signpost you to somewhere to get help. We will also be interviewing services that will help, and that'll be advertising their service too. You could link them with them as well. Okay, so people can watch. People can watch on Facebook's going to be the main hub, but we currently have YouTube as well. For those who don't use Facebook, as well, we have TikTok, which is more for the shorter versions and the advertising side of it. And we've also got Instagram for the same kind of thing. And we're looking to increase that onto where we can actually be watched. But for now, I'm just sticking with those four platforms. As I said, Facebook being the most. I would really encourage you to maybe stick it up on your TV, cast it onto the TV and do the dishes while you're listening. Stuff like that. You might hear something that relates to you. I'm going to be trying to do the podcast a little more regularly. Like, I'm starting a new job hopefully next week, but I'll be trying to find the time to hopefully do it on a regular basis. But for now, I need you guys to share it. To be honest, I need people to talk about it, to literally share it on their Facebooks, to like videos, interact, comment, all that kind of stuff. Just that's what I need to happen at the minute. What can the viewers do to help? Well, very simply, you can interact, you can share, you can like, you can comment, and you can talk about it. Those would be the main things that we would do. I suppose this something I don't really want to do, but I may as well do it while we're on the topic. Is this costs money, but there's a PayPal set up to the email that is on my Facebook as well, on the Anonymous NI Facebook. If you want to donate anonymously, you can, and that can help us grow and progress this project. that would be a great help. A lot of people have chipped in already, anonymously. We're so grateful for them. Really, like, this could not be happening right now if they hadn't. So big shout out to everybody that did help. You know who you are. But I guess that's another wee part of it too. I'd like people to give anonymously. It's a principle, it's a Christian principle actually, but that's beside the point. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing in regards to giving. So it would be nice, if we could maybe get some support financially, but I'm more worried about making the podcast more visible. So, if you're looking to help, talk about it, share the post, comment, like it. That would be a massive help right now, because we're at the very early stages of this. Because what we want to do is help people and save lives, and we need you to do it. We need you to help us do that. What is the end goal? I kind of touched on this earlier, but I'd love to create a sports service that is self-supporting, that will help people with addiction and save lives. See, at the end of the day, even if this podcast doesn't go that far, it is a great hobby and another reason to stay clean. So hopefully we'll continue doing it. But for now, we are just creating the backbone to this. We are starting off. We've had Andy on last episode. He was excellent. I'll hopefully have somebody on by next week. Hopefully an anonymous guest. That's what I'm hoping for. I started this wee podcast to keep me clean is one of it. To be honest, it's another reason to stay clean. But I want to help people. It is miserable living out there in disarray, in the depths of addiction. So I really just want to stop that from continuing. But people, if I can do it, you can do it. A lot of people have said I couldn't do it, and I have. What am I? 2 weeks and 3 days off a year. Which is crazy when I say it out loud, but it's true. So yeah, the end goal is to have something that's substantial enough that enough people see it, so that we can help people, and they hopefully save some lives. Advertise services, share success stories, talk about the issues that are affecting Northern Ireland, and reduce harm. That's the end goal. I know it can be done. So yeah, that's the goal. Alright, so that was me going through some questions that I think are important to be answered. It was a bit structured and scripted, which is not really what I want for the podcast. I would rather it would be a lot more fluid and a lot more spontaneous. But my guests let me down today, when I didn't want to not do something. So that hopefully answers a few questions. If you have any more, just ask them, Just message me or comment on the post, so that, because other people might want the same answer to the question, I'm hoping that, because I'm in quite a noisy office environment, that this wee boy over here has stopped that sound from getting in, but if it hasn't, it hasn't. Yeah, I'm very passionate about wanting to help people through these issues. This is where I'm skilled in. This is what I know. So I'm hoping that excuse me, that I can help others in similar scenarios. I have very interesting conversations on a regular basis. I can remember sitting with a guy and I was like, other people should be hearing this. Other people should be hearing what you and I are talking about, because I believe it would help people, and that's what this is going to be about. You know, because they're suffering out there. If they're anything like I was, they're suffering, and they're suffering hard. I think access to children is a really, really horrible process for a lot of people, and a bit of support through that would be would be great for everybody. Helping people is what I love to do. They say that those that have felt pain know how to. They're the ones that are calmer and that are some more supportive. But you have to heal first before you can do that. You have to heal before you can help. Because if you're still a hurt person, you're going to hurt people. And I think I've done that before. Obviously I've done that before, but I mean while trying to help. I'm really excited with the opportunity to be doing a podcast. It's extremely difficult doing it by yourself, to be honest. I found this difficult. But like I said, I really wanted to get something together and put it out there. If you could please do your part, share, like, post, repost, comment, and ask the questions you want answered. I have a couple of really good guests lined up, and I'm looking forward to having conversations with them, and hopefully you will benefit from them. So yeah, I'm not even sure how long all those wee short videos will be whenever I put them together, but I'll go home and put them together now. Like I said, zero media experience, so hopefully it comes through all right. But I'm looking forward to watching the quality of the recordings and stuff progress. I've got 2 of these microphones that I'm speaking into now. After the last one, the audio wasn't great. So thanks to the people that helped me get the microphone, or the person that helped me get the microphone. I will hopefully have something up for you by next week. Like I said, I was really hoping to have a very good guest on today. I was really looking forward to speaking to her. And she would have been the first anonymous one. I wanted her to be the first anonymous one, but it looks like that's not going to work out. So, yeah, I think I'm going to just leave it roughly about here. Where do you finish off something like this? If you're struggling, I know how it feels, but don't give up. I firmly believe that those suicidal thoughts that I had weren't wanting to die based. They were wanting it to stop based. And in a very short period of time, perspectively, or in perspective, of the big picture, I was able to heal that. And I haven't thought about suicide in a while now, and I believe you can do that too, so don't give up, man. There's a suicide hotline, Lifeline, 08 808 8000, pretty sure it is. Ring them if you need to. But if you're looking to address your substance misuse at the minute, reach out, man. Reach out. Speak to us. Because that's really what we're about. We're about the addiction side of it is a lot of it, you know. Enough. So yeah, thank you very much. My name is Johnny Moore. You've been listening to the Anonymous NI podcast. Thank you.